Hello, this is Sabrina Taro 808 with the Zodiac Collective reading. Now, this is not only about the signs. Now, the messages from each of the signs could be something particular to you, sun, moon, or rising, or as well as the 12 signs do tell us the energy for the whole month in different areas of our lives. And I'll be telling you which is which. Today, we're using the Harmonious Tarot by LoScarabeo. It's made by Walter Crane and Ernest Fitzpatrick. I love that it's very Art Nouveau and it's so intricate and full of details, and I find it very easy to connect with. And actually, for this reading, it made a lot of sense. Okay, so let's start with the reading. We're going to start with the first sign of the zodiac, which is Aries, and this is the starter of the zodiac sign. So this could be, this could also not only reflect Aries as your sign, moon, or rising, but also as the energy of for everybody of starting new things, because that's the Aries is the starter of the zodiac signs. Actually, a lot of movie stars I was checking out, they're either Aries or Taurus, a lot of them, because they're not afraid to make change and to be out there and to be unique. And the cards that we have for Aries, which is also like stages in our life and culminations, we have the Ten of Wands. Let's see if you can see that it's very nice. Ten of Wands is about finishing or putting our burdens down after a long process, after collecting the entire harvest, if you can see from the pictures here. And the other card that Aries got is the World card, and both cards are about completion. And what this is telling us is that projects or stages in our life or difficult times are coming to an end, where it feels burdensome and we're tired from all the efforts. We're coming to an end of that, to a nice culmination, a nice completion of a spiritual time, or not spiritual time, like of the spiritual lessons of the time, because of course they've been harsher during the pandemic for all of us, and it's been trying times for all of us. But this is telling me that probably as the collective, we are probably in November coming to more certainty, to more to where things feel like we've completed a cycle of uncertainty, and we have more control of whatever is going on around us, and that like the struggling time is coming to an end. God bless. Then for Taurus, we have these two cards. We have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands, this is a nice depiction with the carabins, but it's supposed to depict, this is different from the Rider-Waite, but it's supposed to depict too many cooks in the kitchen, too many egos, or a clash of egos, or conflicts, or competition. And the Ace of Pentacles, which is about the ultimate abundance card, and Taurus being a card of an Earth card of and Aries is a fire card, so that's why it's a starter card. But Taurus is an Earth card, and an Earth energy, so it's about our assets, about our money, about our comfort as well. And this is telling us that we're moving from a time of more of financial conflict, or conflict on how to we obtain our coins, to a situation where money comes to us more easily, where we have more abundance, where it feels more comfortable. As you can see, she's tending to her flowers, and she's in a very peaceful uh, state. And so that would be like the message. So it's great news that we're going to be struggling much less, and that there's going to be more abundance of money during this following days. Or maybe this is also for the like end of the energy, end of the year energy. For Gemini, which is about our communications, or the way we communicate, we have the following, or it can also mean siblings as well, but communication, or even our phones, our laptops. We have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is can be a bit cutting with his words, but he's also the strategist of the cards. Let me put it here so you can see all the details. The leaves. He's got a shawl out of leaves. Very nice. Has a very nice touch, and look at his shoes. But he's got a cutting. He's got two swords actually. In case he's one of the swords is not enough. He's got a cutting sword, tongue, of course, and he's very to the point. But he's also strategic. And here we have the Emperor. It's a very, very nice. He's in comfort, very like Art Nouveau style. And what this means on the communications level, and also for Gemini, it's how important it is to be straightforward with their communications, to be to the point, because Gemini, and I have an ascendant in Gemini, not to be clear in a way we're communicating in the following days, and not to be overly cutting that you sound tyrannical, but in a way, if you have to be assertive, it's okay to be assertive, and it's important to be assertive. And but of course, in order to be assertive, you have to know what you're talking about. So just know that if in your communications you must stand in your truth, you must stand using logic and the evidence. But also, like the Emperor, he doesn't need to be tyrannical, because he's not insecure of his power. He knows his power, so he doesn't need to overact it. So just to have a balance, to be assertive in your communications, not to be overly cutting or cross, but just to be clear in the way you're communicating. For Cancer, which is our home life and our security and nurturing, we have the following cards. We have here the Two of Swords, very nice, with the flower hats, and look at the red shoes, so cute. And here with the Page of Wands. This, for me, in the fourth house, which is our family matters and our home, is telling me that we are going to move probably like in this month, or there's like a moving towards going from the energy of blocking our secure, or of being overly protective, because of course it's required and it was necessary, about our home life, to be able to enjoy our home life more, in order that we can, in a way that we can put our fears aside, the necessary fears that we needed to have during this time, and we can put them aside, and we can focus more on having fun, on creating things, on loosening up the grip a bit. So if you're Cancer and you're feeling like you've been overly stressed in your family life, that nobody gets sick, that everybody follows the protocols, and this is of course, this, I'm sure this relates to a lot of homes out there who might be listening to, probably, I would hope most of the entire world that they're taking care of themselves properly. But this is telling us that times to have to move from overly protective and fearful to having more fun are in the horizon this coming days. And as well, this is a reminder for the Cancers, if you've been too much in this energy of protection, of protecting your family, that everything's safe, this is a calling to remember to have fun as well. That it's important to have fun, to have a good balance in life, and as well to have more harmony in your life. If you're too much in this energy of protection and fear, and you're forgetting about being fun and enjoying life and enjoying your family, then you're missing out, and you're not being really harmonious in your family setting either. That's very nice, intricate costume. For Leo is the house of fun. Leo is the house of our children as well, and creative endeavors. And for Leo, we have the card of the Tower, and we have the Strength card. Let me show you the card, the Tower, like more close in a close up. So the Tower time, and this is actually upside down, so I think it's, even better. It's things that might have collapsed for us, the unstable structures that have collapsed in our life. It could be mostly is metaphorically speaking, of course, about our well, thinking that life is always going to be certain. Leo kind of likes to have that certainty, and it feels a bit irritated by being moved out of having that kind of control over their surroundings. So this card of this the strength, which actually in the Rider Waite has a lion, which is a very Leo card actually, is telling us. And the strength card is not the strength as to dominate to strength, but actually to have inner strength, to dominate in a metaphorical way our inner ego. And we if like for in regards to our fun, or maybe in regards to our siblings, or on regards to our creative endeavors, maybe the creative and nice things we used to have before the pandemic. There's of course been a crumbling down of all of that, and of being able to have fun around other people, and of course from the whole situation. But the cards are telling us that during moments of chaotic moments, of things you didn't expect, things coming out of left field, and this is the Tower card, but it's upside down, so it means it's not going to be as dramatic as one could think, as the Tower card can be sometimes. The Tower never tells us what it is. No matter how much you try to read it, it's supposed to be a surprise, because it's supposed to be for your spiritual development. And the strength card is telling us to have the inner strength, not to put the strength outside, not to become aggressive during moments of chaos, but to have the inner strength to control our own inner demons, and be able to canalize our frustration in a better way, to be victorious during moments of chaos. So if you've been doing this is then the tarot cards are telling you, attaboy, attagirl. Or if this happens to you in the following days, remember this advice. I mean that the most important dominion one must have is inner dominion. No matter that you be the calm in the storm, no matter if you're going through a whirlwind of chaos around you. And this also for me means that we're passing through that stage of, and this is for the whole of humanity, and that we have had to go through this moment of having this strength during this chaos, and this applies to everybody, not just to Leo. And know that it's a lesson that we all learn. This a new skill we all have, and there was no other way than calming our inner world in moments of prolonged chaos, like a pandemic. And if you've been doing your work, well, attaboy, attagirl. You've learned your lesson and you're moving forward. And if you're still receiving lessons of this kind in the following days, then it means that you need to work on your inner world and controlling your fears, or your anger, or finding coping skills on how to control your anger during moments of chaos. Okay, now we go with Virgo. Virgo, the house of Virgo is house number 6, and it's about our relation and like our routine and our relation to the outside world, or what we do as a craft or position in the world, which has to do as well with what we do as a living, in a way, or in a lot of ways, because that's what we spend most of our days doing. And it's the Eight of Pentacles card, which is the man working on his trade. Virgo is very much of the Nine of Pentacles, which is enjoying the fruits of your labor. And of course, the Virgo energy is aimed at getting to the Ten of Pentacles, a very comfortable life. So the cards that Virgo got, and not only Virgo, but as well for the entire collective, on regards to that house and that energy, we have the following cards. We have the house of the moon, which is, the moon is uncertainty, especially when it's connected to and our emotions and our fears, and of the things we cannot control. And the Justice card is pretty much very clear on things. It's like a if there's anything certain, it's going to be justice. Justice is going to give us certainty of whatever we're asking for wisdom on, or for dictamination on. So these two energies are telling me that the Virgo energy, or the energy of our craft, of where we dedicate our days to, what we do for a living, or if you've been a Virgo and you've been struggling and in the financial area, it still feels very uncertain what things are going to be like. I feel that there is going to be energy coming these days of justice, of things that are fair, of things that make sense, which is something that Virgo really likes, and that it's well delimited, and it's going to give you the comfort, and it's going to feel very socially just as well. Um, so that's great energy for all of us, and for Virgo as well. For Libra, Libra is a house seven. House seven is of our relationships, romantic or partnerships, and it could also mean business relationships. But it has more of a tint of like social and pleasurable relationships, like with our friends, or romantic. And we have the following cards. We have the Eight of Wands, which is very nice. Is um, well, let's hope. Well, she seems happy, right? She seems to be okay with this guy pulling her. Yeah, she's just trying. She's just being a bit hard to get, and but the position of her body doesn't seem to be like she's being molested in any way. But because I was just wondering about this energy. This is actually Cupid. So, with the energy of Cupid, of messages, yeah, because the Eight of Wands can be messages of love as well, not only communication. So that's why it has that tint of Cupid there. Like you not wanting to answer the call of Cupid, like, oh no, what? Cupid is coming? No way. I don't want it. Or do I want it? And Death card. This is a very nice interpretation of the Death card. Very Art Nouveau, like the theatrics of and a bit of mockery about what death is. Shouldn't be taking that seriously, and that at the end, death comes and takes us, and we're not gonna take. We're not taking with us the crown or the jewels or anything, and it's coming for everybody. Time is coming for everybody, right? But this, for me, this combination of these two cards, the Eight of Wands and the Death card, for me, this represents more of being a bit too cutting with your communication, just to be careful how you're communicating with others, that you might not be acting in a reactive way. And I say that because I got clarifiers, and a clarifier I got, which flew like up in the air, was the Devil card. And Devil card can be, this is like an interesting take on the Devil card. I'm not sure why it, like, with the face of a mask. I hope that's a mask. Well, yeah, it's creepy, as it should be. Uh, the devil can be like trials, sorry, like tricks, or like not tricks, like temptations, or it could also be your ego being out of control. So just be careful how you're communicating, that you might not be like overly reactive. And I say that because the next clarifier was like, what? Death and the devil and communication, what? And then I got the Queen of Chalices, and this, okay, finally it makes sense to me. What this is telling me? This is a nice queen of, like, very Greek statue. Um, what this is telling me is, with your communications in the following days, and this is for all of us, but for Libra and all of us in our communications, if someone communicates to us, just be careful you're not being overreactive, and that you actually might create a lot of chaos, or talk out of because you're stressed, that you might be answering from your ego and out of a place of cool-headedness. And it is possible that some people might trigger us. They might trigger, like, our ego, and make us feel uncomfortable. But just remember speak, or that your messages come from a place of compassion. So if people are acting out, instead of trying to analyze them and feel more anger towards the way they are acting and feeling anger towards them, just try to switch that with being more compassionate and trying to see it from the side of compassion, and with the eyeglasses of compassion, that they're probably very stressed, that this has been a very stressful moment for timing 3 years of 3 years of stress for a lot of people. And just know that of course some people are not handling it as better as other people, as well as other people. So just have more compassion in the way other people might be acting or reacting around you. Don't be reactive to their triggers. Just come from a place of compassion. And if you cannot say anything nice, then don't say anything. That's great advice, right? For Scorpio, which is transformation, which is rebirth, we have the Hermit card. Sorry, the Hermit card, which is a very this is a very nice Hermit card, and this is, well, it has a religious take. Obviously, it looks like Saint Francis of Assisi, because of the skull. Because well, it is said that he used to have a skull in his night table, and they thought it was in the monastery, and they thought it was super creepy. And when they asked him about it, he says, that's it's Sister Death. I just want to remind myself that one day she's going to come for me, and that I should start being comfortable with the fact of that, because life is temporary, and I should and I'm grateful for all the days that the Lord gives me. So this is very much of going within, of course, and much of what we've been doing through this time with the pandemic, of going within, of that being the hermit, of isolating ourselves. But this is also time, of course, for the entire world, that we have been on mandatory isolation, literally, for safety. And this has forced us to go within and to reach out to whatever we hold sacred. And if you're an atheist, which is perfectly fine, although that would be weird that you'll be watching tarot horoscopes. But whatever you believe in, even if you just believe in logic or science, in the cycles of life. I mean, whatever it's been your rock, and this is actually very interesting. That this is very, it feels very biblical, actually. Of this is the rock going in the cave, and he's leaning on the rock. He's in this way very biblical, leaning on God, that God be your rock, or your spirituality be your rock. And it has been a rock during these difficult times. I feel very sorry for people that don't believe anything, because for me, during this time of the pandemic, there hasn't been anything more alleviating than, well, for me particularly, praying the rosary and getting closer to God. As strange as some people may think, that tarot cards and God don't mix, but I do think there's no problematic between them. And actually, there's a lot of cards that have a biblical connotation to biblical passages. So this is, if we've been doing and I think there's been a lot of growth for the entire world in a spiritual sense of this situation that we have been going through with the pandemic, and that had a season and a reason, and it's time to move on to the Sun card. And the Sun card is being able, and of course the Hermit is a like the dark night of the soul. As you can see, he's in a cave, he's looking at the moon. In times of uncertainty, we're looking for wisdom. We are praying to God to give us direction, to have mercy on us, to alleviate our inner world. Because usually, well, when we're looking for God, is because there's some inner conflict we're having that nothing else can resolve, and we have to, the last resource is always God, right? And we're going to find it. I think God is going to answer us all as a collective. That the stars and the energy. We've been doing a lot of growth, and I feel like after the Scorpio season, we're going to have a chance to enjoy being more going out, and this is what we've been seeing in the world, around the world, in the places, of course, where there's been a massive vaccination, and now the Pfizer has. Is released a medication that actually can decrease the severity of COVID sickness in like an 85%, which is very drastic. And FDA is about to approve it if they haven't approved it already. So that's great news that we have been doing the work as a collective, as global citizens, the world, the scientists, the hospitals, the laboratories, and I feel like the energy feels different. That we're moving into a different stage, and the sun and happy times is it's are in the horizon. Better times of having more flexibility to meet our loved ones, to see our loved ones, to have joy in the sun. That's what I'm seeing for Scorpio. And if you're a Scorpion and you're going to go through a dark night of the soul during this November, which is it it's likely to happen for Scorpio because the energies during this season are a bit heavy, and Scorpio is about transmuting, and transmutation is always a bit heavy. Know that this too shall pass, and that there will be a movement from the hermit, from desperately looking for wisdom and for balance and for mercy, to being to having our prayers answered exactly with the sun, because for me there's no other card that represents more God energy than the sun, and that we are moving forward to a more happier and balanced stage as a collective, or we have the promise of that because of the next cards that I'm going to show you for Sagittarius. Sagittarius here is very Sagittarius cards. Actually, I got the Sagittarius card. I am a Sagittarius, Sun in Sagittarius, and which is patience, patience for Sagittarius. It feels like we're gonna have great news in November, but we might have to wait a bit more until December for things to actually develop to get into that sun stage. But we're already seeing the sun at the end of the tunnel, and although we might have to be a bit more patient to get into that energy of the sun, of being able to feel we can go a bit more into what normal used to be before, although it's probably going to be a few more years before it's really, really back to before the pandemic. But it's going to feel more comfortable and more joyful, probably after the December season. But we're gonna start seeing the great news from now. Uh, I love the her colored wings, very nice. And here she has the white lily, very very beautiful temperance card. And here, as if you didn't have enough patience, here's more patience for you. The Hanged Man, which is more time of delays, of seeing things from a different perspective. And hanging in there. So that's the recommendation for Sagittarius. That's always the recommendation for Sagittarius. All, for the entire year, to be more patient. Of course, patience is something that with all Sagittarius, we came here to, well, maybe not all, but most, we came here to learn. So we might have to be a bit more patient during the Sagittarius season, during December, but there's great things coming. And if you're Sagittarius and you're working on something, just keep whatever you're doing, keep doing that. Be patient. Don't discourage yourself because you're not seeing the results yet. And that's of course for the rest of on our and then Sagittarius is about our philosophy, about our religion, about our spirituality. So it could as a way of life on our. So this is also a time of. Well, and with the pandemic, definitely a time to be patient and to find a balance between within. I mean, there's been no other option than to do that. And it also implies having more patience as to how your the life you want to create, how it's going to develop, or how it's exactly going to be. You might have to be a bit more patient, and wait a bit more to see what unfolds. But just hang in there. I mean, whatever you're doing, keep working on that. For Capricorn, and here it is related, because Sagittarius is very idealistic and is very scattered, while Capricorn is to the point, and they want to be efficient. They don't want to lose any energy in doing things that are not productive. So the energy for Capricorn is the Seven of Chalices and the Ace of Cups. Now, with these two cards, if you can see here, the Ace, this is a very nice Ace of Chalices. I love how all the clothing, the folds it has, and the texture, and the flowers is very nice, intricate. Actually, they're not that large. They're, if this, like the size of the drawing is basically the size of a poker card. Um, and I have the mini, which were even harder to see all the details, but I really like them, and they're very magical. It was very easy to connect with them since I got them. And here with the, I believe for me this is my favorite card in all the decks, is the Ace of Cups. Is the ultimate love. It's true love. It's connecting with the divine love. It's my cup runneth over. Another biblical passage that it's in the tarot cards, and this is the Holy Spirit. So this is telling us, with Capricorn being the way we make a living as well, because Capricorn is another earth sign, and is dedicated to creating material security, or that has that energy, Capricorn. Then this is telling us that the right choice on where we should be dedicating ourselves, or what we need to choose in order to produce our coin, certainly has to be aligned with our true passions, with our true love, with something that absolutely resonates with us, and that it cannot only be about the best choice, but it has to be a meaningful and heartful choice, whatever you're choosing as your craft in your life, or where you're going to dedicate your life to. And I've been hearing several news reports about the big resignation that's going on in the U.S. And that's exactly how people are feeling. The What I've been saying actually on since the beginning of my readings about the pandemic, and what I read on the cards, is that this lesson of the pandemic is bringing us a different perspective on our life, and is bringing our focus on how fragile life is, and how we and to really value each day, and value how we're spending our days, if we're spending enough time with our family, if we're doing enough of what we love, because life goes in an instant. To restrict our lives and our spending, and we've seen that we can do with much less, and we've seen that other things have more priority, as it is spending time with our families. For Aquarius is communication and the mind, and it's also the humanitarian. He's a philanthropist, but it's like a detached philanthropist. It's an interesting take on Aquarius. For Aquarius, the lesson, or and it's about innovation, Aquarius as well, so that the innovation, or the new things that are coming for all of us. Aquarius likes, it's an air sign, and oh no, it's a water sign. The water barrier. No, it's, well, I forget about what element it is. It escapes me just this moment. But it's Aquarius likes to have things quickly, and this with the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. We have to move away from the, probably, or the recommendation is to either move away from thinking we can know everything at once, and we can predict everything at once, or that we can know how everything's going to go, because that's impossible. And just to learn that we might have to be playing it by ear, and checking the information, and checking how things are changing, little by little, with more patience, that probably the changes that we need, the innovations that we need to make in our lives, are not going to happen as quick as we thought, and we're going to have to be playing it by ear as the energy stabilizes from the pandemic, from the chaos, into becoming a the new reality, in a way, in a new, more flexible reality, because we already know, we already have more tools how to deal with the uncertainty of this last years. And this also means, if you're looking for innovation in your life, if you need to innovate, that you need to investigate. Obviously, you need to investigate and follow up the innovations, and if they are growing or if they became stunt. All right. And this applies also to the innovations that you want to do in your life. You're gonna have to check that um, as time progresses. For Pisces, which is the last one, we have very beautiful cards, very Pisces cards actually, and this is the ultimate Pisces card, the Ten of Cups, which is Pisces on Mars. It's about uh, the happy ending. It's about it also, of course, is related to the family, but it's related to finding that comfort, or finding your soul tribe, and feeling you have your emotional network of people, your inner circle, and this could take the shape of friends, of soul family, of or a mixture, right? Family, soul friends, and or even maybe your internet communities as well. That can be part of our community. And but this is also related in a way, of course, to making a family, of having a partner. And I'm feeling that energy for Pisces. And we also have the Six of Cups. Now, with this such so cute, the Six of Cups is nostalgic of the past, which sounds very Piscean. Pisces is definitely a water sign, um, and it could be that you just not to over, well, there could be different recommendations. The recommendations are not to over idealize your childhood, or on the contrary, if you had traumas from your childhood, not to bring them into your new family, not to think that it's going to be a continuation because you're always in control. This could also mean for our partnership as well. This could mean that someone from our past is coming back, and it's someone that we could might have a future with. And this could also means that we're going through processes of how we used to, how our childhood was, and what we want to to build as the childhood, or of the new generations. And this could be on a general global level, and as well as personal, and it's a contemplation, and I think we're all doing this. It's a contemplation of what family means, what your network of your soul tribe means, and of finding that soul tribe, and that finding that place where you feel you can be your authentic self as well. And it's about knowing that each individual, regardless of how your childhood was, each individual has the potential to create a new dynamic, a new family dynamic, a new even a new concept of family. And that you're not, it's not that you're not, don't compare yourself to standards of others as well. I feel for Pisces. And we might be as a whole considering, I'm having more difficulties with the Pisces than when with the other ones. We might be considering seeing family in a whole different light, the concept of family in a whole different light, in a more meaningful light. In a way, I think there's big global changes on regards to what used to be like probably family, like work what you call maternity and paternity leaves, and flexibility to work from home. And I think there's going to be a lot of reform on that sense at a global level of focusing more on protecting the family, of protecting and the family in a very broad sense of the word, that people have a time to spend with their family, and how important it is for our health, our mental health, and our physical health as well, and our spiritual health, most important. And this is going to become like a topic, something important during this year, because the pandemic has put us in this situation where we're back in the family setting, and we have to face what family is, and we now realize that we can actually have a balanced life between, especially with the great movement of working remotely, that we can have a better balance with having fun, having time for our hobbies, having time for our families, and that there's a total deconstruction of the human being as a family member, not only as an employer, where family rights are going to have a bigger priority. Um, because of the soulful and spiritual and psychological and emotional, I mean, the whole holistic importance of family. I think family is going to be a great topic, or an important topic, for the months of November and December. I hope that was of help to you. If you would like to purchase a personal reading, you can make your appointment at my website, piedralunataro 808.com. And yes, and sending you lots of blessings.